Hello, everyone. My guest today is Andy Ross-Missel. He leads the company, a company called Faraday.io, and its mission to deliver practical, powerful AI to consumer brands. A designer by training and lifelong software engineer, he's responsible for the product strategy, data science, organization, recruiting efforts, and corporate matters. Previously, Andy founded the celebrated sustainability startup Brighter Planet and worked in politics. Andy, are you ready to take us to the top?
Sure am.
You know, so many smart people are moving out of politics. I can't figure out why, but here you are building Faraday. What's the company do and what's the revenue model? How do you make money?
Yeah, sure. So we help consumer brands basically predict things about what their customers are going to do next. So everything from lead generation and conversion through to who's going to, be further engaged as a customer, or even down to retention issues. And we're a SaaS platform, charge monthly, work in 12-month contracts.
That's great. And typically, kind of what pricing axes do you price around? Is it GMV, total SKUs, total data sources? What is it?
Yeah, so mostly we price around just volume and usage. So the number of different objectives the client's trying to predict, how much outreach is being done, volume through APIs, and other kinds of things like that.
Okay, great. And then I don't want to go down every customer cohort, but what would you say on average an annual contract looks like to really use your platform aggressively?
It's a good question. I mean, so we're not a cheap SaaS platform, certainly, but we're always going to come in under the cost of a single data scientist, is like the way we like to peg it. Somewhere, generally speaking, under $150,000 a year.
Yeah. That's why I asked, by the way. I got the sense you weren't like a $20 a month product, but you also weren't $1 million a year product. So about $150,000 ACV, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's healthy. Good. Put this on a timeline for me. When did you launch the company?
So we started in late 2012, just 6 years here as a company at Faraday. Started in Vermont. So taking, a little bit more time than I think a lot of other tech platforms would. But growth has been really strong over the last couple of years. It kind of entered a new age here at Faraday.
That's great. And have you bootstrapped this or raised capital?
No, so we have had institutional backers from our first year to a firm here in Vermont called Fresh Tracks Capital, and our lead investor is Intercap.
Oh, that's great. And so how much total capital in the company to date?
Single digit millions.
Okay, great. Fair enough. And then over that time span, 2012 to today, what's the team size look like? How many folks?
We've been hiring a lot. We're up to about 25 this week.
Oh, that's cool. Congratulations. And everyone based up there in Vermont or spread out?
Yeah, we're all here in Vermont except for one or two people who've had to move for family stuff.
Okay, that's nice. You still figure out a way to keep them on though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's good. All right. And what have you scaled to in terms of total customers on the platform?
We're right now at about 60 brands.
Okay, that's pretty healthy. So this is very much kind of a high touch model then, right? High touch, high onboarding, get GMV up and drive expansion.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I would say that we definitely try to stay away from too much consulting. We're a 6 to 8 week onboarding process. We don't charge for implementation. So it's definitely important that we tend to keep things automated here, customization on a per client basis.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And look, I mean, 60 folks at, call it an ACV of $100,000, that puts you around a $6 million run rate. Is that directionally correct?
Yeah, single digit millions, like I said, and we're not quite at the 6 level yet though.
Okay, good. Is that you feel like it's within striking distance or it's still a few years out?
Yeah, definitely within striking distance.
Like you look like a skier. So like before you hit the slopes the next time, you're going to have $6 million in ARR or no?
No, definitely not. We ski almost every day when we can out here in Vermont.
Okay, never mind then. I forget about that. For me, I'm in Austin, so I'm waiting for like my first trip to like Aspen or up to the Northeast, and that's still a couple months away. So, all right, fair enough. So 6 million in reach, not quite there yet, but healthy growth. Churn is critical in this kind of business. How do you keep churn low?
Churn is just, for us, luckily we have time. And it's really just about having the time and breathing room to have the deep conversations early on, make sure that we're really understanding what exactly the client wants to optimize. People often think they want more customers, but what they really want is more customers that don't return products and spend at least $100 and, fit a certain profile that they believe they're going to find a lot of growth in. So it takes a lot of time early on to really understand and get at the heart of what the client needs. Because if we get that wrong, then everything downstream, building models, assembling data, deploying predictions, it's all going to be against the wrong goal.
Yeah.
So making sure to take time early up front is important. And then I would say also just, we have like weekly calls with almost all of our clients, and it really helps us stay aligned with strategic priorities. Companies are changing every single month, especially a lot of our clients, fast moving, direct to consumer brands. And so we have to keep up with the brand's change.
So when you look at and kind of measure your ability to do that, churn is obviously a good way to measure that. So if you look over the past 12 months, what does revenue churn look like today?
I can't talk about churn directly. That in terms of our payback metrics are really healthy. They're like much faster than average for SaaS.
What would you say is average though? Everyone has a different meaning for average.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of SaaS products at our ACV, there's so much time and energy put into sales and marketing that it can be over 12 months before you get payback. And we're well under that now, which is healthy.
That's fair. So just to translate that, you're for $100,000 first year contract, you're spending less than $100,000 to get that deal.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
That's great. And whatever percent of that $100,000 you're actually spending, where are you typically spending that besides kind of your sales team?
Right. Yeah. So mostly a data science team. So we've got a group of PhDs here and other analysts who we have to deploy out to each account to get them onboarded, make sure we understand their business and what to optimize. And then we also pay for a lot of data here at Faraday. And so we amortize the cost of all of our licensing out, across our customer base.
You mean in terms of kind of buying sources from, ad partners or, consumer apps where people upload receipt data or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, So data sourcing for us is, we've got a whole group here focused on that. We do consumer license data, opt-in marketing data. We don't do any social scraping. So it means that we have to spend quite a bit of money to assemble what we call the Faraday Identity Graph, which is all 260 million US consumers, and attach that to our clients' data in order to make predictions.
Yeah. In terms of driving expansion revenue year over year, so if I start with you as one of these brands at $100,000 per year, what are your strongest mechanisms to basically end up where my second year contract is $150,000?
Yeah. So we focus, as I said, on the customer lifecycle. And generally, when a client starts with us, they've got one or two stages that are top priority. So a client might be saying for 2019, we're really focused on, growing our customer base. And so lead generation would be maybe our initial objective with them. But maybe the next year they've grown very well. And then their goal is really on LTV. And really then it's just a matter of, okay, how can we engage their customer base more deeply? How can we anticipate when people are ready to buy again? And then that gives us an opportunity to say, okay, we'd love to do this for you guys. We're already connected to all your data. And so we can add that on.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's great. I mean, so how effective maybe I won't ask specifically about what expansion revenue has been over the past 12 months, but let me ask it a different way. Has expansion revenue more than made up for lost revenue? So is your net revenue retention higher than 100%?
I think it's too early to say that. I mean, the way that we're adding new clients on these days is so fast that anything we'd be talking about renewals at this point, it'd be hard to really compare. But that's certainly that, negative net churn is certainly a goal for us in 2019.
Yeah. Sorry, what do you mean? I didn't follow your logic there in terms of the new customer ads. If you look at like your cohort that signed up over a year ago, it's just, did those customers expand more than the ones that detracted?
Right. Good question.
Or you're not sure?
Yeah,
that's
okay.
I'm not sure. That's okay. Do you have, it's okay if you don't measure it. Some people do, some people don't. Is your sales team or your customer success team, are any of them incentivized on driving expansion revenue via like customer success or no?
Yeah. So, and the customer success team, yes. Sales team, no. That's just on first year booked revenue.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Very good. Great. Well, look, this is super valuable, super helpful to understand. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book, maybe a little bit of a strange one, but I was an architecture major in college. And there's a book called A Pattern Language that basically describes how the world works. And
The Pattern?
It's called A Pattern Language by Christopher Alexander.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
CEO I'm following or studying. That's a good question. I guess not at the moment. No, there's not.
Number 3, what billing tool do you guys use?
So we use Stripe.
Oh, you do? Okay. Anything on top of that for analytics?
No.
Nothing. Okay, interesting. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
8 hours.
Yeah. I asked that because I don't want my audience copying a CEO or learning from a CEO that gets like 2 hours of sleep, you know?
That's crazy. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So 8 hours of sleep. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Engaged. Getting married in March.
Oh, congrats. That's exciting. So no kids, Rhett, huh?
No kids yet.
That's great. And how old are you?
35.
35. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
20-year-old self, I wish I could have made a better job of discerning important things from urgent things.
Yeah, better at important versus urgent. It's a trap a lot of us get stuck in. Founder of Faraday, helping consumer brands, really e-commerce brands, figure out what their customers are going to do next. How can they get more leads? How can they increase cart value and lifetime value? They're having success. Founded in 2012, now working with 60 enterprise brands. Average contract value is called, in the 100K range. You can kind of back into revenue there. Pushing $6 million in ARR, healthy growth, $7.1 million raised in terms of CAC, less than 12 months with our team of 25 people up in Vermont. Andy, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot.